Does anyone? Does anyone? Is my question. Is there anyone out there that runs worse? So, get a week off. But if you're not a fan of the tilts, you better fast forward a little bit. Okay? You better fast forward a little bit. Donte DiVincenzo had 3 rebounds at halftime. Needed 1 more for the push, 2 for the 25x. And you know what? I was looking at my phone, and I was just like, nah, he's not going to get it. Because every time I'm looking good for the 25x, I get hooked. I just assume it's going to happen. I literally saw, I was like, oh, I'm easily on pace to go 25x. Nah, it's not going to happen. You want to know what happens? Golden State's down by like 15 in the fourth quarter. Early in the fourth quarter, you better believe Steve Kerr hit the white flag. Waved the white flag. No fourth quarter minutes for DiVincenzo. It cost me $750 profit. Well, $720 profit. I end up doubling my money. I walk away with $60. You think, okay, you have gotten so incredibly unlucky so many times in your 25x's. You might think, all right, that had to have been the only unlucky thing that happened to you tonight, right? There's no way, right? And if anything else unlucky happened, it's just not even a question, right? There's no one that runs. But that's probably what you're saying, right? There's no way anything else could have happened, right? Oh, there's more. Way more. My low-owned wide receiver in XFL entered the $222 tournament, Marcel Aitman. No one plays him because recency bias, right? And he is absolutely smashing in the first half, on pace to break the slate. Injured. Never comes back in the second half. And oh yeah, there's way more to be added, right? I'm a couple points out of the cash in tournaments, NBA DFS. I have Sabonis. I have Jordan Poole. Well, I did a late pivot because I went to get Devontae Graham to prioritize him because people fell asleep at the wheel. Had we had known that Devontae Graham was starting before lock, he would have been very popular. Got him at 5%. Massive blowout to bail out the faders. And I go down from Shea to Poole to prioritize Devontae Graham. Take out a Blazers value to get Devontae Graham and Poole. Yeah, Shea got overtime. Absolute smash. All the Blazers smash. Poole, just need a couple more from him. A couple more from him. A couple more from Sabonis. Massive blowouts in both. Poole of the random variety. So Steve Kerr not only costs me $750 on Prize Picks, but also cost me at least a couple hundred in DFS. Waving the white flag. Wave the white flag. Wave the white flag. Oh. And top it all off. one of the absolute, probably the worst play of the slate, factoring in ownership, Keon Johnson. Massive bust the whole game. 20 fantasy points in garbage time in the last 2 minutes. 20 fantasy points in 2 minutes at 40% ownership. And you want to know actually why he was the worst play of the slate? Everyone, which I didn't agree with, all the sites were projecting him to start. Everyone thought Keon Johnson would start. I was like, I'm not going to start. I don't think he starts. He didn't start. He barely played the whole game, comes in the last 2 minutes of garbage time, and goes for 20 fantasy points. You just can't make it up. You just cannot make it up. What I have to deal with on a night in, night out basis, right? I start the day off well. I win 400 profit in CSGO, turned $10 into 400. Looking good, looking like the 25x, massive blowout. Looking to hit an NBA DFS? No way. Blowouts. XFL, hit on a great low-owned play smash in the first half. You better believe he gets injured. I had like 3 straight injuries leading up into this NBA slate. More injuries tonight. It's a cruel game that we play. I'll tell you that much. It's a cruel, cruel game. And it's just like, right, it's another page in my book. The rest is still unwritten. It's just another page to add. I'm presenting documents to the court one day, right? One of these days, I'm going to walk up with just my endless amounts of evidence to the judge. He's going to review. It's the case of no one runs worse, right? My long, big stack of papers, jotting down, just another page. Another page to the book. And the rule is, if you played Keon Johnson tonight, you owe me money. You owe me money. I didn't. It me. Rules are well established. You owe me money. All right, that's it. I can't, man. I am so incredibly tilted. I just like, it's every time, and I knew it too. I knew when I saw that I was gonna easily, I pasted the 25x. I'm like, something wild's gonna happen. Golden State game turns into a massive blowout. Steve Kerr waves the white flag. Like, so early. Why can't that happen when I fade someone in a game like that? Like, why can't the coach? It never happens. They always leave the starters in for like the entire quarter. But when I just don't wave the white flag with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Oh, all right, I don't have the energy to tilt anymore, but that's what I got for you guys. So I know you missed it. I know you missed a good tilt sesh. There you go. There you go. Again, one of these days, I'm going to present the evidence to the judge. Rule in my favor that no one on this planet runs worse. No one. All right. Let's move on to this 8-game slate. Really quick, though, the sponsor, again, is Prize Picks. Woo! I walk away with $30 profit out of $720. You guys are a first-time user, you can use the code DKDFS for 100% match up to $100. I have a link down below. Won 5 for 6 tonight on Prize Picks. And we've been doing really, really well on Prize Picks lately. If you guys are interested, I do have a package there. And I have DFS packages as well linked down below. But all right, let's talk about this slate. So New York and Washington's the first game here. On the New York side, the positive is you're just going to get a lot of minutes for the main guys. Randall, Brunson, I expect, 35 to 40 minutes. Decent matchup. Brunson's been playing really, really well of late. I have interest in both. Josh Hart minutes, kind of been in that mid-20s, but he's been pretty productive. I think he's a fine last piece in. The minutes in RJ Barrett with Josh Hart on this team have ticked down. He's been averaging like low 30s minutes. I still think at like a 5.7K price point, he's viable, but no longer like a smash play. Mitchell Robinson could be back, which would take Hartenstein and Sims out of play. If Robinson misses, then Hartenstein and Sims would be, splitting the minutes there. And then quickly, he'll play the backup point. He'll probably play mid-20s minutes. like, again, fine tournament play. On the Washington side, comes down to Beal. If I had to guess, I'd say he doesn't play. He's questionable. He was unable to practice for a second consecutive day. So, like, that leads me to believe that he won't play. And if he doesn't play, it's going to make this whole team look a little bit better. Porzingis and Kuzma obviously had a usage bump. Porzingis is priced up, but still has a ceiling, a little revenge spot against the Knicks. And Kuzma would be the guy that's easier to get to with small forward, power forward eligibility. So those two would look good. And then, like, the value would all look better. Denny, Gafford, Monte Morris, DeLon Wright, Corey Kispert, Kendrick Nunn. These guys would all look a lot better if Beal's out. You'd most likely get Kispert in the starting lineup, but it's not fun. Let me tell you this. It is not fun to roster this guy. I roster him, what day was it? It was this day. No, was it this day? I think, no, it was this day. It was that day. 4 fantasy points in 26 minutes. Not fun. It's not fun. But yeah, that group, again, Denny, Gafford, Morris, DeLon Wright, and Kendrick Nunn would all look a lot better if Beal is out. If Beal's in, then downgrade the two guys at the top, downgrade the value. So the Beal news is pretty big. We will get that, though, before lock since it's the early game. Cleveland and Atlanta. Good matchup here for the Cavs. I think the two guards are in play with Mitchell at 9-7 and Darius Garland at 7-7. I think Garland, factoring in price, probably a little bit easier to get to. The front court, Mobley and Allen, both kind of like secondary options for me. 7-3 for Mobley, 6-9 for Allen. Yeah, it's fine. Rubio, I think he'll be back. He just sat last game due to knee management, so like I assume he'll be back and playing the backup point guard role, playing like 20-ish minutes a game. LeVert, should play, 25 to 30 minutes off the bench. He's a fair value, but move on to Atlanta. Tougher matchup here for the Hawks, and not a ton standing out to me. 9-6 for Trey, 7-9 for DeJounte. You can go to those guys for tournaments. John Collins is out. You'll probably get a combination of like Sadiq Bey, Bogdanovich, Hunter just getting a little bit more run. Capella and Okongwu, they're going to spread the 7 minutes. Capella should play high 20s minutes. Okongwu will get the rest, but nothing that I love on the Atlanta side. Miami and Milwaukee, not a ton standing out in either game here, or in either side of this game. You got Hero back. You got Oladipo back. Kevin Love. You have Cody Zeller. This team is a bit more healthy, so I don't really know if I can get to the top end guys. Strus and Vincent overpriced with Hero coming back. Oladipo's also back in the mix. Don't know how many minutes he's going to play in his first game back. I think my favorite option, as weird as it sounds, would be Kevin Love. I don't think he's going to start. I think he'll come off the bench. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but like Love is a good point per minute guy, and it's a flat min price. So it's weird, but like I think Kevin Love is my favorite play on the Heat. Moving on to Milwaukee, again, not a ton here. I know Giannis is doubtful, just to absolutely kill me in best ball. I was looking to advance. You just, again, I expect it. I honestly just expect it at this point. I'm looking good. I'm having a great night. Nah, I'm just like, you know what? Something weird's going to happen. Something weird's going to happen. Like Steve Kerr waving the white flag, start the fourth quarter, down like 15. Something like that. Yeah. We got Portis back. You have Jay Crowder available. You got Middleton back. With Giannis out, obviously there's a lot of usage to go around, but it's a tough match. But a lot of these guys are priced up, like 9K for Drew, 7-6 for Portis. I think my favorite option probably would be Middleton. I think he sees mid-20s minutes. Jay Crowder, the value takes a hit. Connaughton doubtful, but still, again, there's a lot of guys. So there's really not much for me on Milwaukee, maybe outside of Middleton. Brooklyn and Chicago. So Brooklyn also running a relatively deep rotation. You got Ben Simmons questionable, so that could open up some minutes if he sits. At the top, I think Dinwiddie would probably be my favorite option, 7.2. He's going to play the point guard position. He's probably going to play low to mid 30s minutes. So I think Dinwiddie probably my favorite option. Bridges had that massive game last game going for 71 fantasy points. It's obviously not going to happen again. And I feel like 7-4 feels priced about right. Nick Claxton minutes have been down. I think if he stays out of foul trouble, he probably plays close to that 30-minute mark. So he's still playable. Cam Thomas almost like out of the rotation. Cam Johnson is 5'2". Probably sees, high 20s to low 30s minutes. DFS minutes have been down. Seth Curry didn't play a ton last game. Royce O'Neal's minutes are down. Joe Harris. This team's actually relatively deep. So outside of Dinwiddie, there's really not a ton that I love. On the Chicago side, they're also now healthy. DeRozan's available. They also have Patrick Beverly now on this team. I want to see the starting lineup. If Pat Bev starts, I would have mentioned him at 3.4, but kind of tough for me to feel great about any of the value now with Pat Beverly now back in the mix, and then DeRozan obviously as well. So Honestly, DeRozan, LaVine would probably be my favorite options. LaVine 8-4, DeRozan 7-8, but both more just tournament-only plays. Charlotte and Minnesota, so you got Rozier back. You got Kelly Oubre back, so a lot of teams getting healthy. LaMelo is 11K. Like, I do like the matchup for him, but the price point, a little bit tough for me to pay 11K for LaMelo. Some of the value obviously takes a hit now. Like, just the wings in general, PJ looks a little bit worse. Hayward looks a little bit worse with Oubre coming back. Mark Williams, Nick Richards, they're going to split the center position, but Mark Williams is priced up. I think Richards still in a playable price point. Like, he'll play the backup 5. He'll play like 16 to 20 minutes, somewhere in that range. On the Minnesota side, so this is one of my favorite teams to target. I'm pretty high on Anthony Edwards here. I really like the matchup. I like the price point. He should play close to 40 minutes. I think he stands out right now as one of the best benefits in the slate. I really like Ant. Gobert 7-2. If he plays like mid-30s minutes, I think he's a decent option here against the Charlotte Hornets front court. He should be able to feast on the glass. And I like Mike Conley as a bounce back. He shot 0 of 6 last game, but played 33 minutes. If you give Mike Conley low 30s minutes again, he does feel underpriced at 5.7. I like slow-mo too. 31 minutes last game. If you give him close to 30 minutes again, he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, so I think he looks good. McDaniels is 4.7. I think he's a reasonable value option. Naz Reid, we'll play the backup 5. Can at times play a bit alongside Gobert. Don't know if I get to anyone else. Maybe Taurean Prince, who's been playing around 20 minutes at 3.3K. I think that's an okay salary relief play. Houston and Golden State. So this is a good matchup here for Houston, but obviously just blowout risk anytime this team touches the court. Still no KPJ, no Jalen Green. My boy Şengün, if you think they can keep it competitive, he is the guy with the highest ceiling. It's just a matter of, can they keep it competitive? Smith, KJ Martin, and Jae'Sean Tate will be the other starters. I think Smith, Martin, Tate all have ceilings, again, and should play 30-plus minutes if this game stays competitive. And the fifth starter, I hope it's Christopher. I think they should go to Josh Christopher, but I don't want them to go to Daishen Nix. Like, just stop it with him. Stop it. Just give Josh Christopher a chance, man. Like, Christopher is a guy that can put the ball in the bucket. I would rather Christopher start. If he does start, I like him. If it's Knicks, sure, you can use him, but it's not an exciting play. Just start Josh Christopher. What do you have to lose? But basically, I think all the main guys here for Houston, if you think it stays competitive, look up. But there's blowout risk. If you think the game blows out, you can target my boy Tari Eason, who would probably benefit in a blowout. Good point per minute guy, probably would get extended there. The Golden State side, I don't know. If it's a 10-point game, Steve Kerr is probably waving the white flag. Prices did come down, though, on the Warriors, right? You had around 9K for Poole and Clay last slate. Now you got 8.3 and 8K for Poole and Clay. I think both look good. Again, if you think the game stays competitive, ceiling a bit higher on Poole. Steve Kerr also confirmed that Klay Thompson will now be playing in back-to-backs. Draymond Green, 6'8", a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. I think a fair option in the mid-range. DiVincenzo's fine. Looney didn't start last game, still had a big game, finished with a double-double. Kuminga started. I think he's a decent value. Even though it's finishing Ty Jerome. So, I mean, if this game stays competitive, there is a ceiling for sure. Just a matter of, can the Rockets keep it competitive? Oklahoma City and Phoenix. Again, I last second pivoted off SGA. You better believe he got overtime and an absolute smash. Not the best matchup here, but still a guy that has a ceiling. Kind of same with Giddey. Jalen Williams is 6.1K. He should see low to mid-30s minutes. Lou Dort's fine at 4.5. Minutes have not been great on him, but did play, 36 or 31 in regulation. The bigs, I just don't know if I can do it, man. You have so many. You got the other Jalen Williams. I mean, he did play 27 minutes. You got Saric. You got Kenrich Williams. You have JRE. I guess whoever starts, if it's the other Jalen Williams started, and if he starts again, sure, but I just have no confidence in them right now. On the Phoenix side, so you got Campaign questionable. He's been out for a while. He's back, probably boots, one of the end of the bench guys out of the rotation. But Devin Booker, 8.7K. So last game played 35 minutes. Looks like he's no longer on a limit. Still no KD. So I like Booker here. I think he should be a little over 9K player with no limit. It doesn't look like he's on a limit anymore. So I like D-Book. I think DeAndre Ayton at 8-1 should be able to have his way against this front court. I think Chris Paul is a reasonable play. But probably my favorite play in Phoenix, because they're just playing him massive minutes right now, is Josh Okogie, a guy that's a good defender, can stuff the stat sheet. I have no issue playing him once again, even at this price point. Craig and Ross should see minutes as well. Terrence Ross played off the bench 25 minutes. If he plays those type of minutes again, sure, I have some interest in him for tournaments. I don't think I get to Campaign, because I assume if he plays, he'll be on some sort of a limit. And finally, Sacramento and the Clippers. So Sabonis had a massive game tonight. A guy that clearly has a ceiling. I think he's a good play once again. De'Aaron Fox at 9K, reasonable option. The wings all look pretty similar with Herter, Barnes, and Murray. I always have interest in Malik Monk for tournaments just because he's a guy that if he finds his way to more minutes, he could smash. The price would come down on him a bit, but that's really it for Sacramento. And finally, the Clippers. So, Clippers, you got Russell Westbrook available. We'll see if he starts. I'm not sure. But with Westbrook now on this team, that kind of just hurts everyone because Westbrook is a relative value usage player. So, I mean, can you play Kawhi? Can you play Paul George? Sure. I think, getting to Paul George probably a little bit easier since he's 8.2, but a little bit tough for me to prioritize anyone. I think the only way I'd play Westbrook too is if he starts. If he doesn't start, don't know if I can go there. Norman Powell obviously takes a hit with Westbrook now available. I think my favorite option, though, with Ivica Zubac confirmed out, would be Mason Plumlee. This is a bigger team against Sacramento, so I think Plumlee probably plays around 30 minutes. If that's the case, I think he's my favorite option on the Clippers. Don't know if I mean, Morris is 3.8. It's such a brutal roster, Marcus Morris. Again, it's kind of like Corey Kispert. So you just, looking on the name is painful, but like Bones Highland might get kicked from the rotation now with Westbrook there. That's probably it. I think Plumlee would be my favorite option, assuming he starts. I think they're going to start Plumlee, unless they try to go small. But I think they'll start Plumlee. If he does start, I think he's my favorite option in the Clippers. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I am on full tilt mode. Once again, it's just like, can't believe the events that occurred tonight. 1 rebound in the second half is all I needed. 1 rebound. Waves the white flag to begin the fourth quarter. More pain, as it usually is, just more pain. But I appreciate all you guys for watching, putting up with the tilts as always. We'll see you all in the next video.